hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, that guy, James J., alongside the leader of Squaw Squad, Kaliko Yachts.
We back just in time to leave to go to Cleveland. just in time.
And the American Scooter Dust, who is not here this week, but it is still a good week for Wrestling With, as we interviewed the Vegan Thunderbolt on Tuesday, and Guillermo on Wednesday. Two incredible interviews from two different parts of the world. Definitely cannot recommend those interviews enough. Definitely go check them out in the archives. This upcoming Monday, that's right, it's the last week of the month, so we're bringing back Monday interviews. And this Monday we have Corn Boy Kevin Gutierrez on the show. He's kind of taking the Iowa scene by storm, a black and brave alumni. We talk about that, his rivalry with one called Manders, and a couple interesting encounters while doing extra work for WWE, and a hell of a lot more. This upcoming Tuesday, we have Keyshawn Calloway, a new wrestler from my neck of the woods. We talk about that, winning a Cruiserweight Championship, his relationship with a previous guest on the show, Godfather of Swole, and a hell of a lot more. Definitely go check that one out. And then on the 31st, the Wednesday, we have Zombie Dragon, head trainer of Middle Kingdom Wrestling in China. We talk about him, his character, wrestling on top of bugs, wrestling in the rain in Japan, some of the best ribs he's ever pulled, and a hell of a lot more. It's a really in-depth, interesting interview with an incredible individual. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now.
Let me tell you a story, though. One time I was doing extra work, right? And Cody Rhodes, this is right after he had that Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins. Torn pec and yada, yada, yada. He was going to cut a promo. This is right before he got attacked by the coach with a sledgehammer. And right before he goes out there and makes that speech, he looks at me and he's like, "This is weird, but can I borrow your tie?" And I'm like, oh, snap. Because that night, I decided to dress like a superstar, and he wanted to take my tie, go out there, and cut a promo because he knew I had fashion sense. So that was really cool.
Out of all the next level people, it's always me, Swole, and 209 Boat. Me and 209 Boat are actually the same age, so it makes, it's like having like another friend around, that's like my bro. So, but yeah, so we were at this one show. Well, they were going to this one show in Modesto for CWA, and they were all like, "Hey, you should ride with us, come ride with us, see if you can get on the show. If not, you can still try to be a ref or something, And so I'm like, okay. So I ride, and then Swole ends up getting me on the card because one of the other tag teams couldn't make it. So I ended up having to team with Swole, and then everything worked out because my gear was red and it matched their red gear, and then yeah, we just turned it into an angle where I am the R-Truth of the 209 clique.
That's perfect.
But we have speaking of rings, we have another ring in China. This ring is infamous. We call it the IGF ring. Man, that ring is terribly stiff. Like, I made the joke about concrete. That thing is concrete. That ring is made of vibranium. I took a bump on that on that thing, and I was like, the only bump I'm taking is the last move of the match. And a matter of fact, I remember they wanted me to win the match, but I told them no. And they were confused, like, who doesn't want to win a match? I was like, look, my finisher is a leg drop off the top rope.
Oh.
This thing is made of vibranium. Yeah. Just beat me. Just beat me and give me money.
All right. And then on August 6th, we have Green Phantom. The 7th, Crystal Rose. The 13th, Leon Saver. 14th, Reese Ramon. 20th, we have Drea Mitchell. 21st, we have Alex Mays. On the 27th, we have Andrew Cass. And on the 28th, we have Johnny Pierce. So August already filled up. Some incredible interviews that you're definitely not going to want to miss. Right, I think we're done putting ourselves over. And it is a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And it was a couple, maybe 2 days ago at this point. Drew McIntyre took a picture with CM Punk Blood Feud character Jack Perry. He later on deleted the picture, but you know, it was way too late for that. The picture is already all over the internet. I find it interesting, I find it ironic, I find it there's so many strains and spectrums when it comes to that picture being taken. But what are your thoughts on it, Kaliko?
I mean,
Oh, Kaliko? Can you hear? If you can hear me, I cannot hear you.
oh no, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
There we go.
There you go.
Now, where was I before? Oh yeah, his troll level's 9,000, guy. Like, at that point, it's, I will say this, don't get, if anything in this, it shows me, don't be on the bad side of Drew McIntyre on Twitter, because he is ruthless. But, I mean, it kind of works, because it's one of those things where it's like, this storyline is really, really different in the way how you perceive, because most.
Oh, Kaliko, you went out. Kaliko, you went out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, there we go. Most of these stories, it's almost like it's kind of a given, like it's a good guy.
Oh, you went out again.
Oh wow.
Oh no, I
okay.
can hear you.
Okay, so
I don't know if it's your Wi-Fi, but you seem like you have a strong connection.
Okay, but we'll keep it here. This is one of those weird things where it's like there's a good guy, there's a bad guy. Usually, most stories is a good guy and a bad guy, and it's like this one is not really that defined, right? This is the first storyline where you get it. Like it just depends on whose perspective do you see, right?
Right.
Do you see Drew McIntyre's perspective of purposely getting rid of someone who was kind of in his way, and every chance he had to win a title, Punk has screwed him? Or do you take the person who decided, the person who came back and was getting ready to win Royal Rumble, and he got injured, therefore killing his momentum into WrestleMania? I will say this, I think out of all the matches that I'm looking forward to, this one is top notch, number one, because this has been the first storyline where the first match hasn't taken place for some 6 odd months,
Right.
which is bananas. And then throwing Seth Rollins in there, it's another dovetail of the sense of of how Punk and Seth already had beef. But back to the picture, it just added the layer to it of the blurring of real and what's not real. And in this case, I mean, they're doing a hell of a job. Even if the fact that he just posted it and just pulled it out, that in itself did more damage than just leaving it up there.
You know, on the WWE side of things, from Drew McIntyre's perspective, that was a great fucking move. In all honesty, it's his, like you said, his troll behavior is over 9,000 at this point. Um,
Oh yeah.
it shows you how big of a heel he's being to get to Punk, that he would do something like that. And I'm sure CM Punk is also enjoying this rivalry that they're having, because it is kind of unlike anything we've seen before. It's, like you said, it's not necessarily good guy, bad guy. It's two people's perspectives colliding. So I'm sure CM Punk had a good laugh about that as well. Good opportunity to, get some heat, get that rivalry. If you know, you know. But on AEW side of things, first and foremost, why the hell would Jack Perry take a picture with Drew McIntyre to further the rivalry with CM Punk? That kind of confuses me a bit. Am I completely wrong about that?
Well, the issue with it is you don't know when that picture was taken.
I mean, it looked
And
pretty recent.
I mean, define recent. Recent as of yesterday, recent as of Philadelphia, recent as of, you see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they're all peers, and they're all rooting for each other at some point. So you can't really say, oh, he took that picture yesterday, when in essence they're in Osaka right now. So there's no way he could have gotten that photo. I mean, there is a shot, but the odds of him trying to get that picture within 48 hours before heading to Japan is slim to none, especially considering where they were on Wednesday. So that's, to me, that could have been a April Philadelphia pick. That could have been a Royal Rumble-esque pick. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it digs in a little deeper, but at the end of the day, we can't, unless he timestamps it, and he's not going to come out and say, oh, I took that picture months ago, because the point of it is for it to dig.
Right. But, again, when I say recent, I mean, it does look like it was taken maybe within the last 6 months. Definitely while CM Punk was in WWE. And like you just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, they've been feuding for over 6 months, Drew McIntyre and Punk. So, I mean, unless Jack Perry doesn't watch WWE or doesn't know what's going on, this guy is in a rivalry with a guy that you're synonymous now. You're infamous for, costing him his job.
Yeah, he's infamous. Yeah,
infamous.
But
so why would you even risk that getting out? I mean, yeah, if he told them please don't post that, then yeah, 100%. But it does seem like he was maybe not thinking.
No, here's my thought process. You're thinking too deep, and I think Jack Perry just caught a stray. He just happened to be at the crosshairs. I don't think Jack Perry is taking a photo with a fellow colleague, thinking of that, thinking that far apart, right? In let's say it was within that time frame. Who's to say it's not the day before Punk came back? Who's to say? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who's to say? You see what I'm saying? So that's where I think we're kind of digging too deep in it. And to me, this kind of plays into the pattern of Drew McIntyre of the last 5 months, where he would post something super kind of controversial and delete it. So to me, I'm looking at it in his pattern versus this outlier, right?
Right.
Like the infamous I get paid for 30 minutes or something, he's bored with 30 minutes, and then later on he deletes it after he goes fuck. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I'm looking at it in the pattern of how he's been towards this, and it kind of follows within that frame.
Right. I'm not saying 100% Drew McIntyre on his side of things. Great call, great thing to post. Definitely, adds to the hatred. I'm kind of just looking at the AEW side of things because it's
AEW ain't got this got nothing to do with them, because here's the thing: once they release the tape, kind of there's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really look at it from their standpoint because the tape be out.
I mean, it kind of you can't say that they have a side of things because they're the reason this whole rivalry is taking place. If they knew how to do proper business, we wouldn't have gotten Punk and McIntyre. We would have arguably gotten Punk and Perry or Punk and the Bucks. Never happened though.
Well, I don't really care about what ifs. I'm just glad that this probably has been the hottest rival storyline this year, and they haven't even touched yet. And it's only going to get crazier because now Rollins is in the play. So to me, this is probably the best non-faction story that WWE has.
Yes, 100% on WWE's part, fantastic business, but it also shows how bad of business AEW does things at the same time.
It just goes to show, well, it's just a matter of capitalizing off of it. I don't think it's more of the bad business. I think it's just more of WWE is just using it to further it, and they've always been done that. Remember, Matt Hardy and Edge over Lita, Charlotte and Paige over Alberto Del Rio. It's always been that blurred line. So to me, this is par for the course, and I'm pretty sure Punk is okay with it because he has no hard feelings whatsoever.
Right.
I think Drew just did it as the super antagonizer, and it's kind of like one of those things where he knows that Punk is more likely to hit him, therefore it's going to call the match off. See, that's where you're kind of because we're looking at this one incident, but you got to look at it as the overarching story, because of the fact that that's something Punk is willing to fight for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So therefore, he's antagonizing Punk even more so. So where Punk wants to hit him, but he knows if he hits him and they get into a fight, the match is off. See what I'm saying? So that, to me, is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at it. It's a big planet. It's like Saturn, but we're looking at Saturn when the universe is like literally like in the overarching scape of the universe. It's like one big chunk, but it's not the chunk, right?
Right. Alright, on other news, and keep in mind, I didn't even see this on, any, dirt sheets, spoiler sheets, anything of that nature. Ronda Rousey, started a Kickstarter to publish a graphic novel, a comic book. uh, pertaining. It's a story about a bounty hunter that's also pregnant.
Mm.
Um, I was and just for context, I was literally just on YouTube listening to wrestling content, wrestling podcasts, and
Really?
one
Were
of
you?
the commercials that came up was, "Hey, I'm Ronda Rousey, superstar, megastar, yada yada, and I made a graphic novel, and it is going to be on Kickstarter." I don't know why I started going into different accents, but I'm sure this is the first time you've heard of it. What is your reaction to Ronda Rousey making her own graphic novel?
I mean, just something to do, right? I mean, that's all they can do. It's always something to do. So, I mean, that's all they can do. Awesome.
Hmm. I mean, it's an interesting arena to go into after everything that she's done. I guess if it's something that she's passionate about, then maybe it will work. Doesn't necessarily seem like the best of concepts. But personally, it kind of seems like a cash grab. But
I mean, it's not. I mean, they all got something to do, right? Like when Punk was out with WWE, he did the Drax comic books. So, I mean,
yeah, but
it's
I
just,
mean, that was a comic book for Marvel. You know, one of the biggest established, you know, places for comic books. This is just an independent venture. Like, I don't think she approached anybody and nobody approached her. It was just something she just kind of did. You know what I mean?
I mean, she's using her own money for it. What's the point? No biggie, right?
But she's not. It's a Kickstarter, so she's using your money for this venture.
I mean, as long as it ain't my money, I'm good.
Fair enough. Alright. Um. Now, another interesting bit of news. It is reported or rumor and innuendoed that Bobby Lashley and MVP, their contracts are coming up with WWE, and they're looking to maybe not resign. I kind of understand it, but I can kind of also not understand it in the same breath. Uh, I'd like your perspective first.
Her business 3.0. That's basically what they're going for.
Don't you think it's putting all your eggs in one basket for something that maybe lasted 6 months at the least? 4 years
Well,
ago is maybe not the wisest decision.
but at that time, that was probably his highest arc in WWE.
I mean, when he came out of it, it was him and
That's the
MVP.
To me, that's the point. But then again, also in WWE, what else he had to prove? He already won the he already. I think he achieved his ultimate goal in winning the WWE title.
I mean, yeah, but and you know, he was for a hot minute. He was doing great things with WWE, but it just feels like after the Bray Wyatt debacle, right before WrestleMania 29, he never really came out of that. He never really did anything important or significant. You know, that is WWE dropping the ball on him or not, you know,
Correct.
putting momentum behind him. I do feel like making him a face really killed his momentum as well because him just being a badass heel that beat people up, a la Black Lesnar, as we call him,
Exactly. Like Lesnar.
That works for him. But, when you're trying to make him something that he's not necessarily not, it doesn't, it wasn't, it was, the 2. Hard Business 2.0 with the Street Profits then failed miserably. And putting him with Karrion Kross didn't help him at all either. I mean, one could, kick in the ass with somebody, of significance would have really worked out for him, but I could understand where there's maybe no more patience when it comes to WWE. You know what I mean?
Well, the question is where the upward trajectory was going to come from. Because if Lashley was to go for a singles title, the problem was Roman already has one on lock. Logan Paul had the other one on lock. So he was just kind of stuck in the middle, stuck in that no man's land.
Yeah.
To where even if he beats a Cross, there's really no crossover for him to go for a title. I think him and Gunther could have been something, but I mean, even Imperium versus the Prophet. But
I mean, we could have heel Bobby Lashley versus Cody Rhodes. That wouldn't have sucked.
it wouldn't have, but the thing is that Black Lesnar, as you call it, I would have expected Black Lesnar to win. God damn it! I'm just telling you off rip. I would have expected him to win. So it's delicate with him, but he's already achieved everything he needed to. With him, he has nothing else to prove. Now the question is what's going to happen with the Profits after all this is a whole nother conversation to be had.
Right. But hypothetically, if he doesn't re-sign with WWE, people are speculating that he'd go to AEW. And like you said, Hurt Business 3.0 and AEW. If you reunite the Hurt Business in the woods, does anybody care?
I think if they become instead of being stuck at a company, they just become this running territorial faction. Yes, if they just running through different territories and indies. Yes, if it's AEW, no. And see Undisputed for that example.
Because that's just what Bobby Lashley needed, is to become Trios champion in AEW. Yay! I think that he would be devalued, he would be misused. I don't think Tony Khan would know what to do with a Bobby Lashley. If it's just for the simple fact that he wants the Hurt Business to reunite the Hurt Business, but have it be less than it was when they formed it, and I'm talking from Bobby Lashley's perspective, then yeah, go to AEW. It's going to be the drizzling shits. But
I mean, they already got too big of a roster, and that's the problem too.
Right. You're gonna wrestle Brian Cage in the Streets of Agony.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
For the FTW title.
And you'll be under the learning tree.
I don't think he's gonna go to AEW. I personally think he's just gonna take some time off, get some nagging injuries, and see where he goes from there.
I mean, he's been off since like April, May.
Well, that tells you what they think of the Profits. Now, granted, this is where people have this issue with Triple H and black wrestlers and factions. So, and he needs to answer that for sure.
Well, we'll see what happens there. I mean, I don't think Bobby Lashley could go back to TNA because he would just find himself back on he would find himself on NXT, so that doesn't really work out. Um, I mean, obviously GCW would pay him big bucks, but I don't think that that's going to do anything for Bobby Lashley's career.
He could go back to cage fighting.
That is true. He was pretty good at that.
Had a good record.
Yeah. Right. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Bryan Danielson said that his contract comes up August 1st with AEW. Um, Obviously, an extension is going to be made because he does have to wrestle Swerve at the end of the month, the end of August. Um, After that, he did say that he wants to finish off his career and be a part timer. You see, if WWE gives him a big money offer, him going back, or is AEW and Tony Khan's dilutedness too much for him to pass up?
Well, you say dilutedness. I think it's his schedule. I think he's going to stay for the schedule. He gets to go in when he wants to, wrestle who he wants to, and fade in, fade. And I think that's a perfect role for him because if they put him in WWE, they're going to want him in a major story for months at a time. By AEW, he could in and out, a match here, a match there, because they don't really run stories; they run matches. So they can always do dream matches and then go on about their business. So I think he's staying with AEW part time, just to be like, okay, I want to get with this guy. Oh, he's basically going to be like a boxer where he gets his pick of matches. Oh, I want to fight this guy. Oh, I want to take on this guy.
What are your thoughts if WWE gave him? You only have to work 3 times a year. Let's say 4 times a year. Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. For X amount of dollars. Do you think that would be enough to bring him back, or do you think
He's not dominant enough.
I mean,
He's not dominant enough. The only way that works is if you're a prop.
Okay. I feel like if he's only brought in for special events, it wouldn't be necessarily that out of the realm of possibilities. I just think it's because Tony Khan holds him in at very high regard. He thinks the world of him, and he's on the discipline committee. If Tony Khan ever gets hit by a bus, Daniel Bryan runs AEW, which is a crazy thing to say. So I can't imagine he's not getting loads of money for all of those things he's doing behind the scenes for AEW as well. So those are the reasons I think he wouldn't resign with WWE and he would stay in AEW. And besides, he's never been a fan of, as WWE would call it, sports entertainment. He's a wrestler that wrestles. He's good at the wrestles.
Well, WWE's back to using wrestling, so that's not a thing. I think WWE, he would have to do a storyline that leads into it, unless it's the Rumble. But AEW, he doesn't necessarily need it because there was no storyline between him and Ospreay. There was no real storyline between him and Okada. You see what I'm saying? So he can actually mix and match with other people without a backstory, which is basically for the pure sport of it.
He's never been one for the stories.
I mean, he's for the stories in the ring. He's just not for the stories out the ring.
Right. I mean, not one for the cutting the promos and
The skits and shit. Yeah,
right.
He's not the skits and shit guy.
The skits and shit. Speaking of skits and shit, MJF, we no longer have, wasn't the no, it wasn't the Intercontinental Champion. It wasn't the Continental Breakfast. The Outer Continental, the title that Will Ospreay had.
AEW International Champion.
International Championship. Yes, thank you. He has rebranded it the United States Championship. All with a United States flag strap. Not the worst looking belt, but I just don't see the point of it, if I'm being honest. Why would you just rename one of your belts something new just for the hell of it? It doesn't necessarily seem like any heat you would get any heat for that, especially since you changed it to the United States, and we're in the United States, so you're not going to get boos for that. You know what I mean?
Personally, I think that's an out for when they wrestle in the UK. He's going to be like, well, it's the U.S. title. It's not the international, so it doesn't count. I think he could pull. If there was ever a person to pull some bullshit like that, it'd be him.
Very true.
And I'm not even mad at it. He would pull that.
What did you think about the belt design?
I mean, could have been better. I mean, it screams America, but I mean, I just think they presented it like, yeah.
What are your thoughts on them bringing back the international championship and still keeping the United States championship? So you have one new extra belt in your promotion.
Wow, AEW and more belts. How many more we need? Seems like half that roster walks out with a title.
And nobody knows what title it is.
Exactly. You walking out with some AAA Lucario shit, and you like, what the fuck is this?
Keeping on AEW news, last Wednesday was the Blood and Guts match between Team AEW versus the Elite. I haven't partaken in AEW content for quite some time. But Blood and Guts, it's in the name. It was gonna be violent, unnecessary violence. One thing that stuck out to a lot of people was that Jack Perry took an unprotected chair shot to the head. If this was ECW in the 90s, you could plead ignorance. We didn't know what we know now. But considering, everything with concussions and WWE literally having a ban on, people taking chair shots to the head, it does seem irresponsible on their part, and it was addressed all over the internet that it wasn't the smartest thing they could have done. Your thoughts on it, Kaliko?
It's just wondering who is producing these matches and giving them the go ahead. I mean, the question is, we won't know for sure if that was just an accident or pure negligence, right? So everyone's just operating on the fact of pure negligence.
Oh no, it was intentional. Matt Jackson addressed it and said that they wouldn't have done it if he wasn't prepared for to do it. So it was something that was planned in the match.
Well, I mean, if that was planned and he was willing to take it, who are we to tell him he can't take it?
I mean, somebody that I don't like the guy, but I don't want him to be brain dead.
That is. Damn, you don't like Jack Perry either? Like, damn, you just got hate with everybody.
Who did I say I didn't like?
I mean, practically the whole AEW roster.
Well, you're not wrong.
Tony Khan, everybody else, but I'm just saying. My thought process, he was willing to take it. He took it. Lesson learned, moved on, but I mean, it's his right. If he felt comfortable taking it, he'll take it. Or maybe the Bucks coerced him, like they did with the Punk shit.
I don't know. It just seems like, you're saying, oh yeah, I'll take a chair shot to the head, but, you're going to feel that in a couple years. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you're going to feel it. And, anybody from ECW, anybody that's taken unprotected headshots will tell you that it's not the smartest thing to do. Especially somebody that took several, and I'm referring to Mick Foley. Royal Rumble '99.
Yeah, he took a gang of them hoes. I mean, The Rock took some, Austin took some, Taker took some, Triple H took some. Jeff Hardy took a man up.
Yeah, like I said, it was a different time, so and you didn't know what you had back then, but
Oh, you knew. Just didn't care.
I feel like some of what you would WWE has protections against that, and AEW wants to say they care about their wrestlers, they protect their wrestlers, but then they do shit like that. Really makes me question if they do have their wrestlers' best interest at hand, or if they're just going for those moments.
So you're saying they're spot monkeys? Oh gosh, I feel like I'm using a mark term. Oh, I feel so dirty using it.
Not even a spot monkey. Just taking. You're just doing it for the sake of doing it. You're hurting your talent. You're going for the gift rather than to protect your person, your people.
I mean, I get your point. I'm not even knocking it. I'm just telling you that if he was okay with it, people are offending for someone who said that they're okay taking it.
I mean,
And that's why I'm like, if he came out and said, you know what, the Jacksons made me take this shit, and I didn't want to do it, and they talked me into it anyway, got it. But if it would, but by the fact that it was just
well,
you know.
I get what you mean, but considering how many injuries AEW goes through, in a month or in a year, another reason why you shouldn't necessarily chance it. I mean, Sky Blue broke her ankle last week on Collision. Dalton Castle will be out for the foreseeable future. Jay White got injured.
Oh yeah, everybody got injured. Shit, I mean,
they lost the Bang Bangers. They dropped the titles to a Christian and his orphans.
Patriarchy.
and Kill Switch is already injured. He got injured during that match. So the people that, because there was an injury on your guy, that you had to get it off it, the people that you put it on also got injured. Yeah. Think about that for a second.
I mean, let's see, Adam Cole, Adam Copeland, Bandito, The Blade, Cole Carter, Don Castle, Danhausen, Jalistico, Eddie Kingston, Jamie Hayter, Jay White, JD Drake, Julia Hart, Keith Lee, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Mark Davis, Matt Saito, Miro, Ortiz, Penelope Ford, Powerhouse, Toss Rio, Ruby Soho, Sammy Guevara, Samoa Joe, Scorpio Sky, Tate Mello, Trent Barretto, Wardlow, all are on the injury list. Damn, that is like a fucking NFL team. That's a whole nother promotion on that list. Shit.
And I wouldn't even put Adam Cole on that list, considering how the reason he got injured was so incredibly stupid. He literally just jumped down from the runway, the catwalk, and exploded his ankle. Yeah, and he still hasn't wrestled since. Fucking insane.
Hey man, sensitive bones.
But, we're talking about, negative things about AEW, the
All
blood...
the time. That's what it's.
Well, I'm trying to transition. The blood and guts match, that could have been some positivity. Everybody's looking at the negativity of that chair shot. And it definitely 100% overshadows something else that happened on that show. And that is that Kamille is now Mercedes Monet's bodyguard? Question mark. She helped her beat up Britt Baker. I would have thought a WWE run would have been better for her, considering all the great things WWE is doing. But for whatever reason, she's in AEW. And the first thing they do with her is make her the bodyguard for Mercedes Monet.
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 Or whatever.
Yep. We got Monet and Kamille tea.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, people thought she was going to come and be a champion, but I think that was before Miss Mercedes entered the ring of AEW.
I just feel like it's going backwards. She started as Nick Aldis's bodyguard, and that really worked when she didn't talk. But I feel like she's come along and far away from that, kind of becoming a new person. And just going back to that, I feel like you're going backwards rather than forward.
Well, I mean, people know who she is. They know how she talks. I mean, it's just a matter of introducing her to the audience. But then again, that's what they do with all the girls. Haven't you noticed? Chick comes in, be the bodyguard, then takes over. Mariah May, Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter. I mean,
Yeah.
They come in, they click up, and then they break up. It's the you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. And you were actually pretty right about that. So, I guess it's
Was that Paige came in, and then she ended up with a bodyguard? Like, shit. Like, got two of them hoes off rip. Like, I'm just saying.
I guess it's just a matter of waiting and seeing.
Yes, it is.
Now, going to a AEW signee to a WWE signee. We talked about Julia and Stephanie Vaquer the last couple of weeks. They also signed independent pro wrestler from Australia, Delta. For anybody that doesn't know who she is, Delta is from this Adelaide, Australia. She's wrestled somebody we know, Savannah Summers. Um, Same promotion that they got Rhea Ripley from. She looks incredible. She's been wrestling for maybe 4 years at this point. Um, I think if she adapts well to WWE, we could maybe get a new major Australian star and maybe somebody to replace Rhea Ripley down the line. Um, your thoughts, Kaliko?
Low key, they didn't stack down there with the wrestlers. But before I get to Delta, let me get with Miss Thakor. Can you have a better 3 weeks than that girl had? She came in to drop the title, then get signed to WWE right after you drop the title. That had to be like, oh, she good. Then gets the endorsement from Damian Priest. So shit, she riding on cloud 30 right now. Well deserved. Delta is going to be interesting. They're all going into NXT, and it's giving a boost to that roster. Especially a boost to the women's roster of veterans, because they have a lot of promising talent, and they do need to mix it with people who can be a general in the ring and kind of mentor them in the back, right?
Right.
You could hypothetically say Roxanne Perez is one, but technically she's barely old enough to drink at this point. So,
Right.
So it's just they need some of that veteran presence that can actually help them in the ring when the mentors can't help them, right?
Right.
So I think it's good additions on that front, and it's going to give Roxanne Perez and Kalani Jordan something to do, because they're gonna be in the search for challengers. So yeah, it's a good addition, and you can't go wrong with it.
Okay. And that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors. So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low-calorie, no-sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE SummerSlam. It takes place next Saturday in Cleveland, Ohio. At the
Don't
Cleveland.
don't do Bone Thugs and Harmony City like that, sir.
Think about at
I had to.
the Cleveland Brownstein Stadium.
Ooh.
I am in so much.
You do not. You do know I gotta walk there, right? You do.
Kaliko will be wearing the red shirt.
I'll make sure not to wear a red shirt.
Get in heat for Kaliko when he goes to Cleveland.
Oh,
There's 7 matches confirmed right now. Definitely a lot better than the 5 match cards we've been seeing as of recent. But it is one of the bigger events, so you need to get those extra matches on. From what as the show as a whole right now, how the card. What are your thoughts on
I mean it. Honestly, it's okay. It's okay. It's not like over the top, but it is. I will say it's solid. Solid, and granted, they're probably going to add even more to it because that thing is starting at 6:30 on the west. Oh no, on the East Coast. So that's roughly like 5:30 here. So I'm guessing 3 hours. And that's not even including like kickoff and all this other shit, right? So I'm looking forward to this. Of course, everybody already knows I'm going to be in Cleveland, so I am so happy. And considering the fact that, bro, when I say I was looking at these SummerSlam tickets, they were TGH at first.
What?
And for those who don't know what TGH means too goddamn high, because that's crazy. They were looking at like what was it? $5,000 for the front row.
Wow.
$5,000 for the first 5 rows, and then they were like $2,000 for the rows behind, and then the tickets kind of got deducted. So the first 5 rows are $2,500. Anything above behind that is roughly $1,200 to $1,000, depending. They're switching a lot of things up with this show as far as the fan interaction. So prime example, you know how like when you go to the event, you would get the chairs, right?
Yeah.
So only the first 15 rows of sections A, B, C, D, and E are getting chairs.
I'm assuming that's less than.
And those chairs are going to differ because the first 5 rows get a certain chair, and 6 through 15 gets a certain chair.
Oh, that is fucking bullshit. Fuck you, WWE.
So it's, when I say it's interesting, it's solid, it's okay. They got a lot of seats left. I'm not even gonna lie to you. They got a lot of seats left. And I think that's because when they set that market, the market was too high. That's one part. You got that part, and then you have the part where you're not really having. It's a good SummerSlam, but it is not a top-heavy SummerSlam, right? Like a Roman Reigns coming back type of SummerSlam, right? So, I expect the prices to go down. I mean, I was able to get one for like, I got a 4-seat for $1,000. I'm in section A. I might be on TV side. You might see me on TV side. Hey, anyway. But yeah, overall, I'm looking forward to it in person. Some of the matches that I want to see is on this card, and it's going to be very interesting how they book things that night. So based on what the cards are, because you got to keep in mind, they got the other cards, but they didn't forgot that the Bloodline gets the title shot at SummerSlam. So that's going to be interesting. So we'll figure that out. We'll figure it out. But I'm looking forward to it. So I see me down there playing Bone Thugs and Harmony or Bow Wow. Give me a shot.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's get it.
We got first match: CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth freaking Rollins as the special guest referee. As many matches are on this card, I definitely think this is the one that everybody actually wants to see. This is why people are paying their ticket, the price of admission. That being said, I don't necessarily think that they're going to give the people what they want. And when I say that, I mean a clean finish. It's going to be a clusterfuck of what the fuck, and I don't think it's going to be a double countout, but I think Drew McIntyre might actually pull out the win with, all the clusterfuckery going on, and then Punk could have his beef with Rollins saying you screwed me. What say you, Kaliko?
I mean, I think this is the match of the night.
Oh yeah.
Me personally, I think I'm looking forward to this match the most. It's interesting in the sense that that three-way dance, adding Rollins into that can make it a three-way dance all the way around, right? And I think it gives those three something to do as Cody is sitting atop the undisputed championship perch, right? I kind of see where you're going from, but I saw something that someone told me, and it was like it's like SummerSlam '97.
Right.
Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, and Punk and Rollins. They already don't like each other.
Right.
I can see a Seth wanting to hit Punk because keep in mind, Punk cost Seth. In essence, he kind of cost Seth the title. And he can't have a title shot again. Yeah, and Rollins can't have a title shot as long as Priest is champion. And I don't see Priest. Well, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that.
But as long as Priest is champion, Seth is out the picture. That was a great stipulation because of the simple fact that this match now, Seth tries to hit Punk, hits McIntyre. McIntyre gets screwed again. Therefore, causing this three-way dance between them two. The three-way dance between those three. I think this has the makings of being the feud of the year. I mean, to me, it's already the feud of the year because I've never seen a person who was injured on the shelf for 9 months, have so much impact in title matches in my life. Like, straight up. And to the point where it affected the person who hated him the most. And now it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing. And that's like with all three of them. All of three of them got beef with each other in some way, form, or fashion. And I expect that to kind of keep continuing. So to me, Punk winning makes sense in the sense that it gives Drew eyes not only on Punk but on Seth as well. So everybody's kind of watching their back. All three of them are kind of watching their back as far as what. And McIntyre's gonna get his revenge. I don't see this as a one match blow off.
Right.
Although it'd be one hell of a blow off if it was.
Well,
but I think Punk.
I was kind of speculating. We get Punk and McIntyre is obviously SummerSlam. in October is Bad Blood.
Bad Blood.
So that's going to be, I think that's going to be the blow off between McIntyre and Punk in Hell in a Cell. Um but to get there, there's still one, maybe two more paid previews in between. Bass at Berlin, and I think they just announced No Mercy in September. Um, so I could see them doing a triple threat between Rollins, Punk, and McIntyre in between that time. How that would go, I have no idea. Um, but I think I think Punk is chasing uh, a McIntyre at this point. You know, McIntyre has that bracelet with AJ and what is his name? Not Fred,
Larry.
Larry. Thank you. And Larry's name on it, and that's what Punk wants. He wants his pound of flesh. So I think you can't give Punk his pound of flesh. You have to wait for everything to get even more heated than it already is, and you have to give McIntyre some type of comeuppance as well. So that's why I'm going with McIntyre, but you're going with Punk, correct?
I'm going with Punk because that's what kind of keeps it. It keeps I. It's the way he wins because at this point, the winner of this match really is secondary, and that is crazy for a feud that doesn't have a title.
Right.
I can't even think of the last time where you had two people where they fought and you. I think the only time where a winner and a loser. I can't even think of the last feud where it really wasn't about the win or loss in WWE, let alone in the last 6 years.
I'm
So that's what makes this unique. That's what makes this unique because it's not about the win loss. It literally could be a double DQ. It literally could be a double countout. You see what I'm saying? So it can go so many ways because the winner, this feud is not defined by a winner or a loser.
Right. Right. Then we have the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. Who wins, Kaliko?
Sami Zayn's time's up. And if you don't know, someone said it was really good, and I'll never forget it. They said WrestleMania is like the show for the faces to get their comeuppance. SummerSlam is when the heels get their shit in. Yes. And this is officially Braun Breaker's time. And the reason it is, and it's not even the point of the way they were barking in Wisconsin. That is what's setting the alarm off for me. In the fact that the law, and that's the funny thing is people thought it stopped his momentum. It actually made it even better, and then it helped the fact that he basically damn near killed Dragunov.
Right.
So, yeah, I see Breaker coming out of this with the title.
I agree. Like you said, SummerSlam is the WrestleMania for the heels. So Breaker is a heel. Sami didn't really need the Intercontinental Championship to begin with. Let's see what Breaker could do with it. Maybe he'll run with it. Maybe he'll fumble it. But you don't know unless you give him the opportunity. So let's see what happens.
I think Sami might get pulled back in that bloodline shit with Jay, but that's a whole nother.
100%.
because keep in mind they did beat Judgment Day, so they are owed a tag title shot.
Oh yeah. All right. Then we have the United States Championship match: Logan Paul versus La Knight. Who wins, Kaliko?
This is interesting because if this was WrestleMania, I would have said LA Knight. Um, it. The question I have is, if Logan Paul loses his title, then what? I hate the fact that he has the title and I mean, people are gonna hate the title. The fact that he's got the title, he's part timer. But it's to me, it's the fact that he's actually pretty good. he's actually he's actually pretty fucking good. Uh, I'm conflict. This is probably the most conflicting one I've had of. But I'm gonna go on a limb and say Knight. I'm going on a limb and going LA Knight.
You say, what is Logan Paul going to do after this? And honestly, Logan Paul, you can insert him into anything and he'll make it work. He's a chicken salad maker. LA Knight, on the other hand, if he loses this match, then what? I mean, we're not going to see LA Knight versus Cody. I don't see LA Knight getting a tag team partner and going for the tag titles. What would you do with LA Knight if he wasn't United States champion?
That is true, and that's just the hard part. But even with Logan Paul, I think if he loses it, he's gone for a couple months, come back, do a rematch, and I think that would work.
Oh yeah.
But he's also from Cleveland, and that's why I'm like,
So he's definitely not winning, is what you're saying.
Like, it's a lot of Cleveland motherfuckers on this.
If you're from Cleveland, you will not win in Cleveland. All right, you just confirmed it.
Hey, watch your back if that's your hometown. That's all I'm gonna say.
WWE Women's Championship match: Bayley versus Nia Jax. Who wins? Kaliko?
Ooh, now this one is interesting. The wild card is Tiffy, and I told you she was gonna win that briefcase. Y'all motherfuckers keep playing me, man. Don't play. Just because I left don't mean don't play me. It's Tiffy time. Anywho, the only way that cash in would work is if Bayley wins. But I could also see her double. Tiffy looks like she could double across Nia Jax like it's nobody's business.
They already teased it on SmackDown a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so my thing is this: they're both going to be having their backs with Tiffy in the background. I don't think she's cashing in. I think this will be better than their rematch in NXT. I think now this is where it's interesting because this is the first time they went back to the King of the Ring winning the King of the Ring getting the title shot. This is where they're in the conundrum. Will it mean anything? Because it would only mean something if Nia Jax wins. If Nia Jax wins, Bayley does something, Tiffy cashes in, causes a triple threat. I could see something like that. And I love both these girls. I can't. Oh, gosh.
So, you're going with Tiffany Stratton?
Big booty Bayley. I mean, because Nia's. I'm trying to think. Is the crowd ready for Nia to be champion?
if I'm being completely honest, I don't think the crowd would care if Nia was champion.
And that's my point. So
I
Bailey, Tiffy, I could see, I could see Bailey winning, Nia getting pissed, beating her up. Tiffy cashes in. Therefore, Nia is kind of pissed at Tiffy. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I could the scenarios that are going in my head with them, but damn, I should be a booker. Anyway,
I agree with you. I think Bailey will take the W and Tiffy will cash in the money in the bank. Um, Whether or not she'll be successful is maybe another story, but I don't see a lot of reasons why she wouldn't. So,
yeah, because they got 100% success rate for the women's
right.
cash-ins.
But I mean, at some point, somebody is going to have to fumble that ball. Whether it's Tiffany Stratton is yet to be seen, but you know.
They better not do Tiffy like that. Anyway.
One of the more interesting matches on the card, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Um, does what we think happened actually happen this night, or do they save it for another event? Kaliko.
Um, are we talking about the Dom switch or
Yeah.
the Rhea switch or the Judgment Day switch?
All of the above.
Because I mean, because it's weird. The Judgment Day's in a weird place because Rhea and Priest are getting face treatment,
Right.
and everyone else is getting heel treatment.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's fucking mind-boggling. Never seen a faction where like you can get two separate reactions based on who's who, right? God damn. Rhea's back. I think that injury was fake. I think it was just for her to get married. But Liv, I think Liv wins. I think Dom, to me, I think this is the Judgment Day riff. All tonight is going to be that night is going to be a Judgment Day riff because Rhea and Priest are tight, and everybody else are tight with each other. It's kind of like a cliques, different cliques, and even though they're one big group, there's two different cliques, which is weird. Right. But Dom is more on the side of Liv, Finn, JD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I technically I could see Finn costing Rhea that title.
Well, I mean, if we're getting into the full Judgment Day, well,
because Finn took the key,
and Liv helped Finn win that title, the tag team titles. So this is kind of how I saw it. I see that Liv Morgan wins this match. It's going to be with the help of Dominic Mysterio.
Really?
Yeah. Liv. Dominic gets his stepmommy, and I think that was the most evident in the promo that he shot last week, where he said, "I hate you. You ruined my life. Go away. I don't want you. I only want Rhea." It was a good promo, and Liv's reaction was fantastic, but it's good acting. And if you want to get on Rhea's good side, you want her to believe that you're 100% behind her, because he was kind of in the doghouse before that. So
who, Rhea?
No, Dom was in the doghouse with
But Dom, my problem is that the thing is, I can see. Okay, I get that point, but I can literally see not Rhea, but Finn and Dom trying to help one or the other, causing that rift.
Well,
Because the rift just can't happen on its own, right? It is a reason behind that rift.
right.
Dom going with Liv is not going to break the Judgment Day in half.
But
Finn, a founding member,
he wasn't a founding
is
member.
a reason. Yeah.
Rhea and Priest. It was Rhea, Priest, and Edge was the founding members.
But my point is, he's got more stature and more investment in it than Dom. And Dom is not going to... I don't see Judgment Day going, oh, yeah, we're going to break up because Dom.
Okay, well, I was going to get to this when we got to Priest and Gunther, but let's just...
they're honestly, those two matches are intertwined at this point to me.
So,
so we might as well just give out all those. So we'll get the Cody and Solo, but we might as well do Priest, Gunther, Rhea, Morgan, because it's all encompassed.
World Heavyweight Championship match, Damian Priest versus Gunther. So, like I said, Dominic is going to screw Rhea. He's going to turn on Mommy for the step-mommy. And then in the main event, with Priest and Gunther, and before I even say anything, low-key, the way that they built this match was really good.
Yes.
Gunther literally ripped Priest to shreds. And they really...
And that promo, oh my God. Yes. Yeah. I didn't think he had that in him. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I didn't know that was in his arsenal. Like, shit.
And just the way that Priest reacted to it the week after, then they had that pull apart on Monday. It definitely makes me interested to see the match. So low key, they built Gunther and Priest in a really great way that makes you like Priest and hate Gunther. It's clear who your face and who your heel is. That being said, you were talking about Nia Jax. What's the point of winning the King of the Ring if you're not going to get the title? Something has to be proven. Well, it doesn't need to be proven in the women's match, but it can be proven in the men's match if Finn Balor screws Damian Priest. The next week on Raw, have Finn Balor take the lead as the leader of the Judgment Day, add Liv Morgan as their female champion, and kick Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley out because they're faces, the Judgment Day is heel, and you start a Finn Balor Damian Priest rivalry.
I see everything that you're saying. The only caveat I have with this is Priest and Ripley cannot lose. Yes, they could. I mean, hypothetically, they could. My thought process is if Rhea's losing, Priest is winning but getting kicked out. And the reason I say that is because they fucking doing this stupid, well, not even stupid, but they're doing the documentary. It just like niggas getting documentaries, and that'd be the telltale giveaway. When a motherfucker get a documentary, they winning this. That's just me from what I'm looking at it. So I would think Gunther, because I think this just puts him in the championship echelon to where he can get title shots. But you are right in the sense that I think Finn is going to eventually cost it. I just don't think it's going to be that night.
If it's not SummerSlam, then honestly, when?
Bash in Berlin.
I mean, but then who does Priest wrestle at Berlin? Is it a rematch against Gunther?
Yep. Who else is he gonna fight?
I just feel like they're building it now, and it doesn't necessarily seem like they're not ready to pull the trigger. It seems like they loaded the gun. The
bullet's in the chamber. The bullet is in the chamber and ready to get fired. It's just a matter of when to fire it. And I think they're not going to fire it at SummerSlam when Damian Priest is getting this whole weekend to do his documentary with a goddamn screening, and he's the fucking man. That's like Cody Rhodes when they had his little shindig story, and then he loses the match.
Yeah, and I mean, Liv Morgan was so successful after her documentary came out. I mean, it only took a good 5 years before she won a title after her documentary came out.
Motherfucker, Liv Morgan ain't Cody Rhodes.
I'm not talking about Cody Rhodes. I'm talking about Damian Priest.
Oh, Damian Priest is he's going to win. But I do think it's the beginning of the end.
I feel if you have a baby face, especially in the caliber of Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, they need the chase. If Rhea wins the match at SummerSlam, then she was everything that she said she was. She's the eradicator. She's mommy. She's back on top. At some point, Rhea has to lose. I mean, before she got injured, she hasn't lost a match in over a year. At some point, somebody has to get the better of Rhea Ripley, and have it being the person that's been getting the best of her, that's taken everything from her, and is taking her Dominic Mysterio, it would absolutely make sense that it would be Liv to win that match. And the Damian Priest is kind of the same thing. We're low-key starting to cheer for the guy, so we'll cheer for him even more when, he gets turned on. Everybody, his back's against the wall, and maybe you'll see him even win the Royal Rumble in January and get his nod, another nod at Mania 41. Yet to be seen, but he doesn't need that championship right now to be over. He needs.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. And the reason I say that is because the story with the Judgment Day and Priest is the fact that ever since he lost the title and he won the title, it's gotten into his head. So therefore,
right.
He wins. His arrogance brings the hubris. But he loses his crew. Because keep in mind, they've been in flux until she got back.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be good with the chase, and I understand what you're saying with Rhea, because Rhea is going to have to be the chaser in that regard. But with Priest, one more month, him losing it to Gunther in Germany is not. I mean, what's the difference between him losing it in Germany and losing it in Cleveland? Other than the
it's the second biggest show that WWE has to offer compared to a brand new paid preview that they've never done before.
But would it mean more for Gunther to win it in Germany and Europe, or win it in goddamn Cleveland? Or, as you said, Cleveland.
Wouldn't it be a bigger deal if Gunther walked into Germany as the World Heavyweight Champion? Ain't that the prodigal son has returned in a regard?
Are you trying to do that white version of Kofi Kingston going to Africa? Is that what you're trying to do? Is that what you're trying to pull out your ass right now?
I mean, technically he's Austrian, not technically German. So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily...
His presence seems so goddamn German.
Well, I mean, they're literally right next door to each other, so...
Yeah, no shit. Like, potato. Like...
Yeah. So you're on the consensus. I'm going Gunther wins. Finn Balor causes the title loss. And Priest beats and Liv beats Rhea. Definitively, what do you say? Who wins those two matches?
I say Rhea loses due to interference. I could literally see Gunther and Priest being some kind of nefarious way to get out of a draw or no DQ or a DQ, a draw. I can literally see that kind of happening to set that rematch up. Although it's very rare for Triple H to do that, so therefore I'm going to say Damian Priest remains the champion barely, but it's on thin ice. It's on thin fucking ice.
All right. And that brings us, maybe I think it's going to be the main event. And just you personally, how would you plan this card? What would be your opener and what would be closing the night, in your opinion, Kaliko?
Personally, it's interesting. I think if it were me, I would start off hot with Punk, Drew, and Seth. Because that's going to be the one everyone wants to see. I would just if I was serious about it, I would push that one out the gate. Because that one is going to set the tone of how the night goes.
Yeah.
And in the way that this night is going, with the exception of Cody and Solo, everything else is not really heel face.
What do you mean?
You have people that are getting booed, but it's not like they're getting booed because people don't like them. They're getting booed because in my mind, I think all of this looks like perspectives.
Right.
People love the fact that Liv's the champion because Liv's been held out for so goddamn long. Rhea was the one that injured her. She finally getting her revenge on this motherfucker, and she's taking it how she likes most. Rhea, you could totally see it. She fucked me over. If I was the champ, she fucked me over, got me injured trying to take my man. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not a good guy, bad guy. And this is the best thing I like about it. It's like The Walking Dead. It just depends on whose perspective you like the most. It's not, or no, which perspective hits home the most for you? Does your perspective hit home for Punk? After being gone 10 years, you're coming back. You're setting the goal on yourself, and someone fucks you over and gets you injured 2 months beforehand? Or do you see the perspective of a motherfucker who's been busting their ass the last 5-6 years, been the champion since COVID, didn't get his respect, then all of a sudden some motherfucker comes in and tries to take the spot that you had, so you injured his ass, and you thought he was gone for good, and then the other motherfucker, every time you achieve something. Here he comes, fucking you over. Like it's all perspective.
Right.
It's literally perspective slam instead of SummerSlam. Um, Same with Bailey and Nia. I mean, Bailey, you're the champ. You've been running this shit. You kind of got your thing going. Nia Jax, I've been gone 10 years, and I waited forever to get this fucking shot, and I'm going to bust that ass on it. Or you see Tiffy, bitch, I'm sitting here waiting on that ass. It's all perspective. Gunther, the fucking ring general who just says, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to knock your ass over and kick your ass. Damian Priest, the person who's just getting the screening of being poor and overweight and losing weight, and he fought hard and clawed his way back. And now you got some dude who looks at it as just another thing than his heart and soul in it. It's just a matter of which side you look at.
Right. Well, I think that Punk and McIntyre will start the show. It'll take a lot of balls for them to, right out the gate give you the match you wanted the most. But I think they would absolutely do it. If they don't, then I say that they would start with Rhea and Liv. And I think Cody and Solo and
Solo goes on last, and the return of, maybe the return of Roman.
Well,
so that's what people are looking for.
WWE Championship match: Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa for the WWE Championship. Does Cody Rhodes win? Do they give the nod to Solo? And does the original tribal chief make his return?
Is a fish wet? Is fish wet? Because that's what I'm just looking at. Like, I think if Cody wins, Cody wins. Roman could come back. I think he could. I think a Heyman appearance would be first before a Roman appearance. Just my perspective on it. But eventually they got to get there. And the thing is that even if Roman comes back, he's not going to wrestle Solo right away. It's just going to be this big build to, Bad Blood?
I was going to say Survivor Series.
I think the first match kicks off at Bad Blood. Then you get the War Games.
Oh, okay, I can see that.
Or the War Games could be this new Bloodline versus Judgment Day, and that's where all this shit goes down. See, you got so many avenues. Avenues.
I don't see Bloodline versus Judgment Day. Two heel groups. But I could definitely see...
Judgment Day's half heel, half face at this point.
I could definitely see if they do Roman and Solo, and for the first time in forever, Roman don't got the numbers. Solo's got the numbers. And then Roman has to go back to his family and rebuild his family in order to take on the new bloodline in War Games.
I don't think y'all even noticing the one person that no one's really bringing up. Jimmy Uso.
He I would assume he would.
Jimmy could literally be the catalyst that starts all this. Because keep in mind, that's my point. So that he's gonna be. I think he could come back and screw Solo over.
Ooh, okay. SummerSlam or?
At SummerSlam.
Okay, I see.
Thus thus protecting Solo. So now Solo, because the story with Solo at that point is he lost, Jimmy lost him. Now he has to eradicate everybody in the bloodline to ensure that the new bloodline maintains.
Which would prompt Roman to come back.
Bingo.
Okay, I see you.
So I can see that happening. And no one's really even think, because keep in mind, who fucked over Jay last year?
Jimmy.
Jimmy. See, no.
Okay, I see you.
Jimmy's got a record for it.
Alright, so, we both agree Cody's winning the match, though.
Oh, shit. Come on, man.
Yeah. Alright, I believe that will conclude our coverage of SummerSlam and this episode as a whole. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday. Join us this Tuesday as we interview. This Monday, I should say. Join us this Monday as we interview Cornboy Kevin Gutierrez. This Tuesday as we interview Keyshawn Calloway, and this Wednesday as we interview Zombie Dragon. And join us next Saturday as we preview and review whatever stupid shit goes down in the week of pro wrestling. Skits and shit and more.
Skits and shit. That's the new phrase to say.
If you like what follow us at Wrestling with E, both on Xthread and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko. Hey, next week we are in Cleveland live for the biggest show of the summer. I just can't wait, man. It's always good to be out with the fans, out with the wrestling fans alike. If you see me, give me some dap. You might hear me playing Bow Wow or Bone Thugs and Harmony or something. You'll hear me playing any rap music from Cleveland except Machine Gun Kelly. But But yeah, if you see me, say what's up, and yeah, let's get ready to have a good time.
If you like Cleveland so much, why did you call him the Cleveland Brownstains? He's going to be in the red shirt people.
I mean, I'll be there singing Jelly Roll for sure, but you ain't gonna see me in the Cleveland gear. See, James don't know, when it comes to East Coast sports, they will shoot you. They will shoot you. They will cut you for some sports. Like, you can't be going down there and yelling fuck Ohio State. They gonna bust your ass open. Or fuck Cleveland. Even though Cleveland has been shitty up until recently, they will still cut you, sir.
Yeah. Alright, for Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.